Look at this journey. Getting 2G up and running years ago. Dead last in 4G a few years later. Remember all that? Verizon and AT&T led the 4G era. T-Mobile and Sprint were distant thirds and fourths. This industry has always forced people to choose between the best network and the best value. We were determined we would have the best network. Are you ready, Neville? Here we go.
Are you ready? 'Cause I'm coming to get you.
T-Mobile won big in the wireless spectrum auction.
The merger has given T-Mobile fantastic frequency assets.
We won a clean sweep of awards over and over and over, category by category. T-Mobile was their answer. That restlessness, that relentlessness, that refusal to accept the status quo. What if we used the power of 5G to completely disrupt broadband? What if we connected everybody's smartphones directly to outer space?
To put great technology in the hands of amazing people, I'm convinced that the best lies ahead.
This network is already on top of our decade-long plus advantages, both in value and in experience, which have been big, bold moves where we fundamentally reshaped this industry.
What customers expect has changed. They want more from us than they ever did before. In every corner of this country where they need it, they want a rethought customer experience. And that is what this moment is about. Redefining wireless again.
How's everybody doing? All right. Well, welcome everybody. All right. Welcome to the 5G Hub. Anybody from T-Mobile in the room? All right. If you're tuning in on YouTube, we've got a friendly audience in the crowd, so thanks for your patience with that. We're coming to you live from the T-Mobile 5G Hub. This is the place where T-Mobile invents the future of networking, where 5G advanced unfolds, intent-based networking unfolds, the future of 6G, together with our partners at companies like Nokia and Ericsson and NVIDIA. This is where the future is made. And so we thought it would be a good place to gather to talk about the future again. Because for 12 years, our story as the Un-carrier has been all about the future, tackling the wrongs in this industry and making this industry better for customers. That is what the Un-carrier journey has been all about. And every year or two, well, I'd say it differently, once or twice a year, we get together with the public and we give you an update on how we're doing at pursuing that journey for you. And today is no different. This is history making because we like to step out once in a while and change the industry again. And we have 3 simple updates for you today. First, I'm going to give you an update on the network. And it's an update that won't surprise people that are really close to this industry and watch this industry closely. But today's a bit of an unveil to the public that will change a decades-old truth and usher in a new future of networks in the US starting today. Second, I'm going to give you an update along with Mike Katz on T-Satellite, our groundbreaking initiative on satellite to cellular. We're going to drop a couple pieces of news today about our launch and about upcoming features no one else in the world has. And then finally, Magenta Status, our groundbreaking loyalty program announced last year on the heels of an almost decade-long tradition of T-Mobile Tuesdays, is getting a mic drop today. So let's get after it. First, I want to let you know that quietly, without most of us knowing about it, over the last year, the most exhaustive network test in US history has been conducted. And for the last 6 months, a sampling of millions and millions of users across all the major networks, comprising almost 500 million data points, has looked at every aspect of the network experience of customers of T-Mobile and our competitors. It has looked into things like, what's the browsing experience like? What's the streaming experience like? What's the gaming experience like? What's the scrolling experience like? The social media experience? Is there a signal? Is there coverage in this area? Is there congestion in this area? Across millions of users and 500 million data points. And it's been conducted by the people behind that popular speed test app called speedtest.net, Ookla. Now, I want to clarify, this isn't just when you pull out the Ookla Speedtest app and run it. This is looking at embedded network diagnostics in all kinds of popular experiences. And that's why they have so many millions of users and this 500 million data points. And so it's obviously a big day when that network test is completed and you're able to look at it and say a 2-decade-old era has come to an end, and there's a new network leader in this country, and it's T-Mobile. Now, we've been saying for a while that T-Mobile is the best 5G network. But look, what has happened over the last 5 years is that 5G networks have become the networks. And so it was only a matter of time with our groundbreaking 5G leadership that eventually we would be able to stand on a stage and claim overall network leadership. And as I said, if you've been watching this industry closely, if you're really close to this industry, like you're invested in it as an investor or you analyze the industry, this isn't that big of news to you because you've seen this day coming. You've watched this movie unfold. But this is a day for us to unveil this truth to the public and to declare it as a result of this massive first-of-its-kind test and to launch a campaign to lay it all out there for Americans. Now, I want to point out that this isn't going to make our competitors happy. This is going to make them pretty sad because they're used to being out in front. One in particular, Verizon, has been kind of banking on this for decades. And so this is a bit of an end of an era as well for them. And I want to give you a little bit of a warning that what you're going to see if you watch this industry closely is a little bit of an attempt at obfuscation. And so you're going to hear, and people in this country hear, a cacophony of claims on TV. We're the best at this, we're the best at that, who's got the best 5G? And one of the bases for that claim that I know will be made by our competitors as they attempt to cling to some semblance of a network story is going to be based on what are called drive tests. Now, this is very different than what we just talked about, the most comprehensive testing in the history of our country conducted over the last 6 months across millions of users. Drive tests look at 50 users, 50 users driving around in cars. In fact, drive tests are often sponsored by the carriers, and so they're driving around in cars kind of in a way that's consistent with the carrier's expectations. And so obviously these things are very, very different. And you'll see claims from others based on these drive tests. Now, I don't want to discount drive tests too much. They have a role. We look at the data. It's important data for any operator to understand weak spots, how to tune up the network, where are drop calls happening. Drive tests have a role. They're important, but they are not a comprehensive way across every corner of this country to determine who's the best network. And that's what we are claiming today on the heels of the largest test ever. It's an incredibly exciting moment for us. And for me, it's personal. You know, I've been here for this whole Un-carrier journey over the past 12+ years as we decided to right the wrongs in this industry and forge out in a new direction. And look, when we launched the Un-carrier at the beginning of 2013, over 12 years ago, and we took T-Mobile public, we were dead last. We were number 4 in networks, and that's because there's only 4. And rapidly shrinking as a result. That year we lost 2.2 million postpaid customers. And so for me, after all this time, and after the chess moves that have made it possible, and the strength of this incredible team, it is such a privilege and a joy on behalf of our tens of millions of customers to not only declare this network leadership, but to declare that we're doubling down on it to make sure that it's not just true today, but it'll be true for the entirety of the 5G era and well into 6G. And it's a testament to this amazing team, from our strategy teams that helped us get the essential assets to our finance teams that helped us afford it, to our legal teams and our HR teams that got us this incredible people, our product and marketing teams, and probably first and foremost, our incredible network and technology teams that have achieved, for the first time in T-Mobile history, overall network leadership. Congratulations, team. Now, a little over 5 years ago, when I became CEO, I made you a promise. I gave you a prediction. I told you that we aspired in this new version of T-Mobile, bringing together T-Mobile and Sprint and the incredible capabilities, know-how, and assets of that combination, that we aspired to one day be able to break the oldest trade-off in the history of this industry. The idea that for decades since this industry was invented, you had to choose between the best network and the best value. And we had a dream that we could bring that day to an end, and we're here to celebrate today. We've done it. Trade-offs have left the chat. Now, in a minute, Srini's gonna tell us a little bit more about why and how we've done this and double-click into the network. Then Mike Katz is gonna change the subject a little bit and tell us how we're taking it all to the next level again with our groundbreaking T-Satellite initiative. And then I'll be back to make sure that we don't leave value out of the equation. In fact, we drop a big mic drop on value. And so here we go. In just a minute after this video breather, you guys, welcome T-Mobile's own Chief Operating Officer, Srini Gopalan.
Beat me at the...
Woo! Wow, what a day to be at T-Mobile. The best network in the US. Just let that sink in. What a day. So I've been here about 100 days now, just over. And one of the most common questions I get is, what makes this place special? What makes us different? My take, a couple of things. One, absolutely crazy ambition. Ambition that means we not only dream about going from worst to best, but we actually do it. And the second thing is a relentless hunger to win and keep winning, which is why I'm confident. I believe we're a good 2 years ahead of Verizon and AT&T, and that lead is only going to expand. This is only going to get better. I'll put some rational facts around my kind of statements and feelings as I get into network and talk a bit more in specifics. So let's jump right into that. We are today the best network. How do we get here, and why do we think we will continue to stay in the lead? It's a simple formula at one level. We've got the most towers, the best spectrum, and the most advanced network technology. Put that together, and you get the best network. Let me double-click through each of those. The most towers. This is an amusing slide, because it says 82,715 and counting. I spoke to Ulf this morning. The slide's about a week and a half old, so this should read 82,815 towers and building and counting. Now that's 10 to 15% more towers than Verizon has. And obviously, the more towers you have, the better the coverage you get. What's interesting for me is the history of this and how we've turned a disadvantage into an advantage. Historically, we didn't have the best spectrum holding. We had a lot of high-frequency spectrum. And those of you who remember your high school physics, higher frequency, shorter wavelength, waves travel a shorter distance, you need a more focused grid to cover that, which is why we built more towers, to ensure that our high-frequency waves could travel the distances that they need to. Now, today, we have the best spectrum holding in the industry. And I'll come back and talk a little more about that. But put together the densest cellular grid with the best spectrum holding, and you can create magic, which is exactly what we've done. Let's talk about the best spectrum. Why do I say we have the best spectrum? Number one, we have more spectrum. We have at least 30% more spectrum than Verizon and almost 40% more spectrum than AT&T. But even better, within each band, we have the best spectrum, which is the lowest frequency within each band. Going back to high school physics, low frequency, higher wavelength, just travels longer. So let's take our low band, which is the foundation of our network, right, which provides the coverage. We have 600 megahertz. Verizon and AT&T use 700 and 800. Let's take what I think of as the Goldilocks spectrum, our mid-band, the stuff that really creates the speed, the capacity, the throughput, especially in a 5G era. We use 2.5 gigahertz, thanks to the merger with Sprint. Now, Verizon and AT&T use C-band. They spent a lot of money, $85 billion on the auction to get C-band. $85 billion later, their spectrum covers at least 30% less area than our 2.5 gigahertz. That's the beauty of having not just more spectrum, but the best spectrum in each band. You put these two things together, the densest cellular grid with the best spectrum, and you're in a great position. But that's not all. On top of that, we have the most advanced network technology. We rolled out 5G standalone network core in 2020. In 2025, and my math's not that good, so 5 years later, I think, Verizon made a claim that they would roll out 5G standalone. So that means they're going to be 5 years later than we were, which is why even today, we cover 300 million pop with our standalone core. Verizon covers 200 million. So we cover 50% more people with the most advanced network core. Think of the network core like the brains of the network. It directs the physical assets. All of the more towers we have and the best spectrum we have, it orchestrates this whole thing. That gives us some incredible capabilities. 6-carrier aggregation, which is beginning to put together all of the spectrum we have, adding it so that we get even more capacity, so that we generate even more speed. My favorite, slicing. We finally have the network capability to be able to create a network for one organization, a network that specifically meets the needs of a specific group of people. T-Priority is probably our best example of this, where we've created a network specifically for our first responders, which gives them access to speeds even in a congested area, which gives them access to all the things they need to do their vital jobs. That is only possible because of our ability to slice. And obviously behind a lot of this lies our use of AI, which as we think about AI RAN and where 6G goes, right, this sets us up in a brilliant place to drive that forward. Part of the reasons why I'm so confident that our leadership is here to stay. So you put all of this together, the most towers, the best spectrum, the most advanced network technology. That makes the best network. I'm a huge music fan, so I often think of our network in terms of music, right? We've got the best acoustics, our towers. We've got the right mix of instruments and musicians, our spectrum. And we've got the world's best conductor, our core network. Put that together, and our network makes music, unlike Verizon and AT&T, who make a lot of noise, right? And that noise will only go up after today's events. You'll see and hear lots of obfuscation and alternative claims. But this is the rational, logical basis on why I can stand here today and say we have the best network and there's more to come. But the thing that makes us most proud is when our customers experience this network. We have, in the last 4 years, not just liberated 20% more mobile customers to a point where we have close to 130 million mobile customers who have escaped the contradiction of best network or best value and chosen both. We have also liberated over 6 million households from their experience in cable or DSL and created an entire new category with fixed wireless access. That was only possible because of this network. The speed test in January 25 showed Our customers spent 71% of their time on 5G. Verizon's customers spend 11% of their time. AT&T's customers, 15% of their time. That's the beauty of all of this coming together. It gives us a huge, clear lead. The thing that makes us feel especially good, though, is when enterprises running massive businesses or people who are involved in mission-critical tasks test us against our competition, test us thoroughly, because their businesses, these mission-critical things depend on a mobile network. And they turn around and say, you guys are the best. So I'm going to close with some of our customers, some of our big enterprise customers or those involved in mission-critical tasks, talking to you about why they picked us. Thank you.
We decided to partner with T-Mobile because we need to work in instantaneous milliseconds to have reliable, clear communications was critically important to win Grand Prix.
T-Mobile is the brand that we went with to make sure that our thousands of fans at our championships could stay connected.
New York City has some of the most complex issues where it comes to responding. So having that seamless connectivity is key.
We are focused on delivering the very best experience to our customers. 5G gives Delta people the reliable, secure connectivity that they need to take care of our customers and provide an exceptional experience.
T-Mobile understood the desire to create fan experiences.
They have an unbelievable consumer base, great activators, and their technology is first class.
They continue to be a best-in-class business and technology partner and provides innovative technology solutions.
When we made this decision to move towards T-Mobile, it was in the best interest of the city.
They're the perfect partner for LVGP because they had the same ambitions as we had.
They're looking years ahead to make sure that every step we take now will pay dividends for us in the future.
We're very proud of our strong relationship with T-Mobile, and we look forward to our continued partnership together.
We will continue to rely on a great partner with the best network in the business to keep our fans connected to the game they love.
It was important to us that we partnered with T-Mobile.
Hey, everyone. What do you think about that? Thank you, Srini. That was incredible. You know, one of the reasons that we found ourselves now in this place where we have the best network is the focus that is created, driven by the mission of our company. You know, our company's mission is to be the best at the world at connecting T-Mobile members to their world. And Mike and Srini both just talked about now us being officially recognized at being the best in the US at doing that. But those of you, like a lot of you work here at T-Mobile, you know that being the best just is never good enough for us because T-Mobile members, they deserve more. And that's one of the reasons why nearly 3 years ago, we announced a groundbreaking, first-of-its-kind partnership with the team at Starlink to create T-Satellite. And because T-Mobile has become the network leader, we can now do things that no one else can. We're leading the industry into the next frontier of connectivity. And I'm really excited because we've partnered with Starlink to create something that's more than just a product. This is about giving our members access to peace of mind in areas where they need to stay connected. And together, we have a shared mission with the Starlink team to build something that never existed before the launch of T-Satellite, and to really get after eliminating one of the biggest pain points in our industry, the wireless dead zones. You know, one of the visions that we've always had with the Starlink team is, if you can see the sky, you're connected. And I can tell you that has deeply resonated with our members, because every one of us that's ever used a wireless phone has had this experience. You know, being unconnected, really needing your phone and it not working. And even with all of the progress we've made and the lead in towers that Srini just talked about, and the big head start that our competitors had at building national networks, there are still many places across this country where mobile terrestrial networks still don't reach. In fact, there's like 500,000 square miles of US territory that's not covered by any terrestrial network. No coverage by AT&T, no coverage by Verizon, no coverage from anyone. And like, we've all had these experiences. You've been driving, down a rural road or over a mountain pass or into a valley and have no signal when you really need it. All of us have had that experience of like being on a boat on a body of water and not being able to connect with anybody, or in a national park wanting to send that selfie to somebody and you can't do it. And because of that, and because our mission is to be the best at keeping customers connected, we got after it. And I am proud to say that today we have built the biggest, the best, and the most capable satellite to mobile network in the entire world. And you got to pardon the pun here for a second, but we are literally light years ahead of what any other competitor is doing in this space. Despite, and you'll hear more of this, despite their obfuscation and claims otherwise. We set out to build the best satellite to mobile network and it started with talking to customers. And one of the things that we heard from customers was a few things. The first is you have to have ubiquitous coverage. It's kind of an obvious one. People want satellites to be able to cover the areas that the terrestrial networks don't cover. The second thing we heard from customers is it has to just work. It can't be complicated. When I leave the terrestrial network, it needs to just automatically connect to the satellite network. And the third thing is customers don't want to have to go through a whole rigmarole of buying new equipment and buying new devices to connect to satellite and get access to satellite. They want it to work on the phone that they already have. And I'm really excited to say that T-Satellite does all three of those things. And it's the only one that does. And it's the only one that will do it both today and for the foreseeable future. But let me double click on that a little bit more because I want you to see how this compares to what the other guys are doing. So first, Srini just talked a lot about the huge advantage that we have with the number of cell sites that we have. And it's kind of an obvious thing. The more cell sites, the more area that you can cover, the better experiences you can give to customers. And when you're building a cell phone network in space, the same theory applies. Essentially what we're doing is using satellites as cell phone towers in space. And to be able to cover the vastness of the US and bring some of the services I'm going to talk about here in a second, you need a lot of satellites. And I am so proud of what the team has done here. Today, we have 657 satellites in orbit supporting real customers with this service today. Yeah. We're also the first and only mobile provider that has a cellular to satellite service that allows you to automatically connect. You don't have to do anything. You go out of terrestrial, you automatically connect to satellite. You don't have to do a single thing. You don't have to pull your phone out, play a video game on it, point it up at the sky, look weird to your friends. You don't have to do any of that. It just automatically connects. And it automatically connects to the phone that's already in your pocket. 75% of the phones that our customers use today are automatically eligible to use T-Satellite. And one way to think about this is pretty much any phone that was manufactured over the last 4 years works on T-Satellite. Customers don't need to do a thing. Many of you know, last year at the Super Bowl, we kicked off the T-Satellite beta. We announced it to the world. And I can tell you the response has been incredible. Our Super Bowl ad this year had the most engagement out of any ad during the Super Bowl. And look, there's like over 60 ads from big advertisers in the Super Bowl. The one about T-Satellite had the most. And since we launched that ad, we've had over 1.8 million customers sign up for the service. And that includes hundreds of thousands of customers from AT&T and Verizon. And one of the things that we've seen in the pilot, and the reason we did the beta, was we wanted to learn what experience customers were going to get. And one of the things that we've seen during the beta is customers receive many more messages than they send. In fact, 3 times more. So customers receive 3 times more messages than they actually send out. And this is why automatic connection matters so much. Because if you're not able to receive messages because you haven't done the video game and pointed your phone at the sky, then you're not reachable. You're not really connected. So automatic connection is something that desperately matters to customers. We saw our customers send and receive millions of messages during this beta period, and they did it from all over the country in mobile dead spots, in almost every single corner in every single state of this country. We also saw customers use the service on over 60 different discrete devices. So having the phone in your pocket also really matters, and customers took advantage of that. But maybe most importantly is we saw this service save lives. Just in our beta period, we had dozens of customers who connected to 911 via text because they were in a precarious situation and needed help. And at the end of the day, that's what keeping customers connected is all about, to make sure that we're there and we have their back when they really need it. So after a very, very successful beta, I'm excited to announce another big milestone in T-Satellite. T-Satellite is going to go live, and we're launching it for the world on July 23rd. Yep. The focus of the beta for us was really around text-based messages, including RCS and iMessages, because we wanted to make sure that we built a system that could scale to the millions of people that wanted to use it. We've now learned what we've needed to learn, and when we launch T-Satellite next month, it will include not only text-based messaging, but also MMS messaging. So think about the ability to be able to send and receive picture messages or short audio clips will be available for customers at our July 23rd launch. And also, later this year, I'm really excited to announce that for the first time ever in the world, we are bringing data onto a satellite to cellular network. We've partnered with the world's best and most widely used app providers to bring people apps that are the most important when they find themselves in these areas where there is no terrestrial coverage. So think about things like mapping services and music services and AI-assisted messaging services from the biggest providers in the world, the Apples and the Googles, but also other popular messaging services like WhatsApp and X, weather services like AccuWeather, and for Omar, most importantly, T-Life is going to be on there. This is just the beginning, because also today we're announcing we are welcoming any developer who wants to optimize their app and bring it to our customers on our satellite network can do so. The SDKs are available from Google. The APIs are available from Apple and open to app developers today. And if you're interested, reach out to us, satelliteapps@tmobile.com for more information. But like everything we do, we are making this accessible to all customers. And today, I'm excited to announce that T-Satellite will be included in our most popular plans, the Experience Beyond plan and the Go 5G Next plan. And for any wireless customer, it's just $10 a month. And guess what? That $10 a month includes other customers from other mobile carriers who want to operate T-Satellite in parallel to their current cell service, so they don't have to switch. Also, on October 1st, when we make data widely available to customers, we will also be making 911 texting available to all customers on all networks, as long as they have a compatible phone. Because regardless of whether you signed up for the service or not, if you find yourself in a position where you need help, all customers should have access to help. So that's coming on October 1st. So that's T-Satellite. But before I pass back to Mike to talk about what's next with Magenta Status, and it's big, I wanted to introduce you to a new friend of T-Mobile who is kind of known as like a real no BS truth teller. And he had some things to talk about in regards to the T-Mobile network. Enjoy.
For years, everyone thought Verizon had the best network. It's because they did. Those days are gone. You want to know who has the best mobile network in the U.S. today? The answer is T-Mobile. You see, some fancy experts finished a big old network test, and T-Mobile sort of opened a can of whoop-up. They've also got America's most advanced 5G. T-Mobile's got more towers and a signal that goes further than anyone else's. And if you do find yourself in places where there's no cell signal that can reach, well, T-Mobile also happens to have the world's largest mobile-to-satellite network, with over 600 dedicated satellites that automatically connect to your phone. Want to know how many the other guys have? I don't know, under 10? Who knows? I guess they're embarrassed to say. I know I would be. And to connect to their satellites, you got to wave your arm around looking all silly and stuff. I mean, if you don't automatically connect, are you even connected? But now I'm getting all philosophical on you. T-Mobile is 2 years ahead of AT&T and Verizon. And my guess is, when you look down the road, they'll still be way ahead. For non-aeronautical types, it's all just a long way of saying that with T-Mobile's network, you'll be able to connect in more places, and that means less missing out. So go on, send your little texts and snapograms and Instatalks and all that stuff from just about anywhere and tell them you won't believe where I am. Seriously, where am I? Hey, I got signal.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you, Billy Bob. As you may be able to tell, that today is not just a declaration of our best network status, but it's also the launch of a major campaign. Because while we've been telling ourselves that this day is coming, and we've been talking about it with the community that watches our industry so closely, today is the beginning of us telling the story out in the public. You're gonna see an awful lot from us talking about the various ways and aspects that T-Mobile leads the country in network connectivity, and this day has been decades in the making. So today's news, now the best network, the world's largest and most advanced satellite network, and a little update on Magenta status. And let me start the Magenta status story by maybe taking you back 9 years to where it all began, which was T-Mobile Tuesdays. 9 years ago, just last month, we launched T-Mobile Tuesdays with the idea, and it's a little self-involved, I'll admit, but it was the idea that until that day, every loyalty program in this country had it wrong. In fact, they had it exactly backwards. That loyalty programs were designed so that you could prove your loyalty to the company instead of so the company could prove its loyalty to you, so that you could rack up points for maybe one day, someday, getting rewarded, instead of letting the company thank you and reward you and land perks on you and thankings on you and exclusives every single week. And that began something that unleashed an incredible movement with customers. Our members connect by the millions every week to unlock these rewards and these thankings, and it inspired something last year where we took it all to the next level and said, let's not just unveil something new every Tuesday. Let's land some benefits on customers so that our members know what they get and why membership in T-Mobile is so special beyond all these things we've been talking about around network connectivity. And we called it Magenta Status, and it has taken off. Magenta Status is about those benefits of membership, things like Netflix on Us, things like MLB TV, other streaming platforms that customers get for free. Of course, travel benefits like we've been talking about. Wi-Fi has been game-changing for customers to have it on airplanes when they travel for free because of T-Mobile. Customers get a bigger discount than you can get from any other provider, including, that one for people my age, like 15% off hotels from Hilton's 20+ brands. Pretty cool. That most annoying thing about travel, you ever been on a trip and you're rushing to the airport in your rental car and you're like, oh man, I gotta find a gas station. Not with T-Mobile, because we include with Dollar Rental Car that entire tank of gas on us, so you go straight to the airport and drop your car off like a baller. That's what Magenta Status is all about. Rewards, benefits, exclusives, the privileges. And so today, we're taking it to the next level. And I am very pleased that we have partnered with one of the largest and most exciting digital platforms in the world, engaged by tens of millions of people, and it is DoorDash. And T-Mobile customers will receive Dash Pass on Us. Now, this is a giant day for us because Dash Pass is something that costs $10 a month. That's $120 a year, the most popular way it's purchased. And this is something that saves customers up to hundreds of dollars a year, because it not only gives deliveries for free, but it also gets exclusive discounts on the service fees that are associated with delivery. In fact, about $5 per delivery. So somebody that uses DoorDash once a month. Let's say somebody on our team told us that they use it 2 to 3 times a week, sorry, which is like 2 to 3 times a week. It's crazy. It's awesome. You can save, at that pace, you could save $600 or $700 a year in addition to the $120 you're saving with the DashPass subscription. This isn't a platform that we chose to partner with because it is by far the largest and most successful platform of its kind, and also because they're our friends and they're wonderful people. 2.5 billion orders last year from 500,000 merchants across 42 million monthly active users doing $40 billion worth of business. This is a mega platform that's flagship product, DashPass, is now free for T-Mobile customers. Now, I wanted you to hear a word from this about our friend Tony Schuett at DoorDash, so take a listen.
Thanks, Mike. We're excited to team up with T-Mobile to bring DashPass for free to millions of T-Mobile members. That means millions more can now enjoy DoorDash with $0 delivery fees, lower service fees, and exclusive deals on everything from meals to groceries to everyday items, delivered fast whenever they need it. They'll be joining over 20 million DashPass members worldwide who already count on DoorDash for convenience, speed, and value, not just for food, but to get everything and the best from their neighborhood. At DoorDash, we believe in connections that make everyday life better, whether that's the fastest 5G network or the fastest way to get your favorite things. We're thrilled to work with T-Mobile to deliver more of what people love, right to their door.
All right, I'm gonna tell you a secret. So I really wanted you to hear from Tony in today's show, but I only thought of it a few days ago. And so like we reached out to him, and he's on vacation overseas and under the weather. So Tony, you're a real friend. Thank you so much for sending that in. All right. You guys, I am pleased to announce that DashPass on Us, the biggest on us we've ever done, starts on July 8th on all of our most popular plans. Our experience plans like Experience More, Experience Beyond, Go 5G plans, Magenta plans, even those old T-Mobile One plans. All of our most popular plans get DashPass on Us starting July 8th. Yeah. And of course, the place to get it is from our groundbreaking T-Life app, now in the hands of more than 65 million T-Mobile customers, engaging well over 20 million active uniques per month, several times per month. This is by far the most engaged and largest app of its kind in the telecom universe, because of course it is. It's where people engage to unlock the benefits and the privileges of membership with T-Mobile. So our news for today is really pretty simple. It's about starting a new era and declaring with the loudest voice we can, including the launch of that campaign you just saw, that a new chapter has begun in American connectivity with T-Mobile, the connection leader. To give you a big update on T-Satellite, like our launch date of July 23rd, and the fact that data is coming soon and an open to developers developer platform, and finally the biggest on us deal ever in Magenta status, DashPass on Us. And look, I'm kind of mindful that today is meaningful for T-Mobile, but it's also meaningful for another group of people we got to make sure we don't forget. Those tens of millions of people that signed up for Verizon thinking they were the best network. Because, as we said in the video, they were. They were. Tens of millions of people specifically chose Verizon because they wanted to be with the best network. And so, I've got just one more thing, which is we're announcing today something that we've been piloting over the last few weeks is now going to be available widely, Easy Upgrade. A chance to finally move away from Verizon and pick the new network leader. A chance that makes it easier than it has ever been by far, because you can come to T-Mobile we'll pay off your old phone and hand you a new flagship phone like the iPhone 16 or the iPhone 16 Pro, depending on your plan, Galaxy S25, Pixel 9, a flagship phone on us. We'll pay off your old one, give it to your kids or something. Easier way to the new best network in the country. That's T-Mobile. Introducing Easy Upgrade. It's for people that want the best network, and we know who they are. So look, I think today is principally about a simple idea. And asserting network leadership and value leadership is something we promised a few years ago we would finally be able to do. Today, we're here to tell you that we've done it. We're here to tell you that we are committed and passionate about not just defending this lead, but extending it for the benefit of customers. That is what the Un-carrier does. Put customers first, treat them right, and change this industry in their favor. And I hope when people see this news, that a line that you might have seen in the Billy Bob spot starts to ring out as a chorus from our customers. Can you believe where I am? You won't believe where I am right now. And of course it will, because what T-Mobile members know is something I hope tens of millions of more people will soon know, which is that it's better over here at T-Mobile. Thank you, everybody. And we'll be back in just a minute.
You won't believe where I am.
T-Mobile now has the best network. How will you use it?
Okay. So, welcome Ulf, Mike, Srini, myself, and we'll take a few questions from you to finish up this press meeting.
You seen that?
Oh, what's
Here it is! We're best network! We did it! We did it! It couldn't be any more exciting to hear this, and I can just also say it's a huge day for T-Mobile. It's a huge day, just like we've heard. It's also a huge day for the network team at T-Mobile. I just want to give a big shout out to the network team for an incredible work and getting to this point where we have the best network in the United States.
We've been wondering where you've been hiding that thing, Ulf. Glad you got it. Okay, we're going to start out. So if you are attached to the media platform, you can put a question in the chat. It'll bring it right up here in front of us, and we'll be able to answer it. We've got a few minutes to take a few questions. We'll also take a few in the room if there are any. I'll start out with one that came in from Jennifer Kent from Parks Associates. T-Fiber is a big deal. You've been talking a lot about it, but no mention today. How's fiber fit into this overall view on growth and excellence in telecom? Mike, you want to start with that?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a busy couple weeks for us because on June 5th, we officially launched T-Fiber to the world. We've been piloting it for a couple of years, but on June 5th, we actually launched it. And as part of that launch was a rebrand of the first acquisition that we did in a joint venture for the former Lumos brand. So those markets were rebranded, and we went to market in those launch markets as T-Fiber. And it's going great. And one of the things that we've talked a lot about is we think that the fiber business is incredibly complementary to what we've been doing with 5G home internet. 5G home internet for 13 quarters has been the fastest growing broadband product in America, the fastest growing. But for those of you who know about 5G home internet, it is a product where we are selling excess capacity. So there are parts of the country where customers want 5G home internet. We have to say no because it's a fallow capacity product. And that's why fiber works so great with it, because in these markets where we have customers on waiting list, over 1 million customers nationwide, we're able to offer T-Fiber to them. And we've already seen in the first couple weeks that customers really show a lot of interest in it. So we'll have a lot more to say about fiber. We've obviously got another transaction that we hope to close here soon. But certainly T-Fiber is a big part of the growth story of this company.
Okay. By the way, if you have a question in the room, who has the microphone in the room? Okay, so this fellow right here has the microphone, and so if you have a question in the room, just flag him down, and he'll bring you into the conversation while we're talking to folks with the online ones. Maybe go right now? All right.
Congratulations on a number of new announcements. I had a question about the satellite, and I was curious about, because of the complexity of satellite to mobile, how you might be using AI in the mix, and what are your plans for voice or video streaming satellite, or how you think about it?
All right. First of all, I love it. It reminds me of the time when we did, and you were here for this story, Chetan, when we did Uncarrier 5, and we were like, oh my gosh, like this is the most groundbreaking thing ever. Music streams free, and the confetti went off, and the world of customers were like, that is awesome, but what about my video? And so thank you for the data is finally here, but what about my voice? Look, that's our aspiration. You know, we do believe that this network will be capable of picture messaging, video messaging, audio messaging, data usage on apps following our APIs to make sure that all the background data is shut down as really essential data, great data experience. Think like 2G style, becoming 3G style capacity, and of course, voice. So all those things are in our pipeline. We don't have dates for them. They're coming. But the one we have dates for is that the app experiences, we will plunge out of just messaging and into app use with any app that follows the API starting on October 1st. Okay, so does anybody want to comment about AI in the use of the satellite piece? And maybe, Ulf, while you've got the mic, if you don't mind, pivot to talk about AI as it relates to the overall network after a brief comment on satellite, because this is a huge part of our future, and we've only recently begun to talk about intent-based networking.
Right. What I like so much about the question is that you're thinking about it for benefit of customers. And we have, from the beginning at T-Mobile, said that we will use AI and focus our efforts on benefiting customers rather than saving costs or doing things in simpler ways. It's really about benefiting customers. Already today, we're using AI to optimize customer experiences. In relationship to your question, whether we use it for satellite or not, yes. There are even patents in there that are specific to how we do this in T-Mobile, making sure that people get latched onto the satellite when they need to and don't have a bad experience on something that doesn't really work on the terrestrial network. So when you're leaving the terrestrial network and coming into the satellite space. Then when it comes to AI in general, I would say we have already heard how our dense 5G multi-layer strategy from Srini works so well. I can say that that experience is also a part of the AI in automation piece that we do, just focusing on customers, making sure always that they're best connected. We are the only ones who really got it right from the beginning in the 5G era. We said from the beginning that 5G will be focused on smartphones, and if you think about that, it will all be about creating the best possible smartphone experience. Not very few, none said that. If you go back 10 years ago, early days of 5G. That's why we built the network we did. That's why, if you think about it, if you move from tower to tower, you always have the maximum amount of throughput to your device, whether we're using carrier ag, up to 4 carrier ag today, or we're using carrier in the uplink, and so on. It's all optimized for the experience. What we said last year when we started to talk about more AI in terms of deploying new coverage, we're using AI for that. Last year we had a couple of big hurricanes, wildfires, other things. Also there, using AI to automate and make sure that the experience is always the possibly best one, and recovering networks. The next level, which Mike referred to here, is when you really start to think about the network optimized not only to the user, but to the device and down to the application. Every application getting exactly the bandwidth, exactly the latency, exactly the experience, the real feeling that is wanted from that application. That starts to be so granular. So we talk about AI being the enabler at customer love at scale. And that's exactly what we can do with that. And I'm glad I just returned from a trip over to Europe last week where we participated in something called the TM Forum, which is a world conference. And T-Mobile won the first prize for the most insightful and exciting future vision of what that can do for sixth generation or next generation networks. It's so, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting because it shows now, you know, we are this award today. It's fantastic, but it also shows that what Mike said, it's the beginning of a new era.
I love watching Ulf talk about the future of networking while clutching to his prize. He's never going to let it go, my friends. He's never going to let it go. You can count on us to lead for the foreseeable future. All right, let's shift gears. We have one coming in from social media. Is DoorDash only for new customers, or is it available for people who've been customers? It's for everybody. It's for everybody on our most popular plans, going way back to T-Mobile One plans. Remember those Magenta plans, those Go 5G plans, the Experience plans that just came out. So all of our most popular mainstream plans have Dash Pass on us starting July 8th. Okay, what else here in the room?
All right. It's a follow-up to that, actually. It's I was going to ask about satellite data, but you answered it. So on the loyalty programs, how many people actually use them? How many people are signing up to MLB through you guys? How many people are using some of the discounts that you're offering? How's it going?
Yeah, maybe you could share a few of the stats. It's start with the T-Mobile Tuesdays ones. It's kind of crazy what has happened. So far, there have been 1.2 billion thankings given to our customers over the past 9 years. But maybe Mike, double click into it.
We're seeing millions and millions of people come in every single week and take advantage of the incredible thankings that we have on T-Mobile Tuesdays. And the scale of it is somewhat mind-blowing. Like we've had examples like recently, we had an unbelievable promotion with Wingstop, where our customers could get a couple of chicken strips for free. Wingstop nationwide literally ran out of chicken because our customers, they love themselves some chicken strips. And, you know, so whether it's chicken strips, you know, we have well over 1 million people that take advantage of MLB TV every single year. We're seeing millions and millions of people come through T-Life every single week and go grab their T-Mobile Tuesday thanking.
We're approaching 25 million monthly uniques on T-Life, and those people aren't coming to check their bill. You know, that they're coming to engage with T-Mobile and all of our various benefits, rewards, and privileges. And so it's pretty cool to see that people come and they come back over and over again. By the way, this week, it's Wendy's, a free sandwich, like no strings. You just waltz in there like you own the place and walk out with a free single. That's pretty cool. That you have to redeem it by today, though. So today's the last day. Good.
All right, so congratulations to another award. You've won them before, right? And young people are switchers, and I think you're getting pretty good recognition for your network from younger people. How are you able to get older people to recognize that? Because the higher the tenure, the less you get recognized for it. You're picking now a spokesperson that's in the right age demographic for people like me or for others who are not switching their character.
Oh, I thought you were asking for a friend.
I'm asking for myself. I'm asking for myself. So how do you get them to pay more attention and use that as a reason to switch?
All right. You want to start, Mike?
Yeah, look, if you look at what's happened to T-Mobile, I'll just use recent history. We compete for switchers unlike anybody else. You know, we've been winning this switching battle for a long time, and we love the environment where customers are considering switching because T-Mobile is the net winner. If you look at where we were last quarter, we had over 200,000 net new accounts that came to T-Mobile, in addition to leading in post-pay phone and everything else. So switching, we think we resonate with switchers irrespective of demographic. Yeah, I mean, we're obviously excited to partner with Billy Bob. We think Billy Bob appeals to a lot of people. He has like literally the most popular show in America right now. He's never done a commercial before. This is the first time he's ever done a commercial for anybody. But you know, I think advertising certainly is part of it. But I think at the core, whether you're young, whether you're older, the core proposition of best network and best value is what everybody wants. You want to have a network that you know has your back and is going to be reliable in all the situations that you need it. And you want to make sure you're getting a great deal. And with T-Mobile, you can get the best network and you can save 20% relative to AT&T and Verizon. And whether you're 18, 45, or 85, I think that really matters to people.
And I think maybe one of the best examples is how we did satellite, Mike. Because we did satellite, you don't even know you're on it. Like it's in your pocket. There's no video games to be played. It's automatically. So it's done for people who they're not technology savvy, but they want the services. And that's how we think about everything we do.
And I think the other thing is what a lot of our digital properties are doing is now taking some of the pain out of switching. Because I think there's a lot of people who want to switch, who just don't want to spend 4 hours on a Saturday going through that process of switching. We're at a place now where upgrades, which is kind of our own customers, we got more than half of our upgrades coming through T-Life. As we extend our digital properties, I think one big thing, one big pain point we'll really smash through is the pain of switching. And that, I think, will start appealing to an even broader audience.
You know, this network leadership is something that we took a minute before doing a public announcement around. And to the premise of your question, we've won awards before, not one like this. This is groundbreaking. But people who watch this industry closely have seen this moment coming for a long time, and various flavors of us. We were the 5G leader now for 5 years. 5G's obviously becoming everything, and so it's only a matter of time. We've been a little hesitant because, you know, it's an uncomfortable space for us. You know, we love to take on the big guys, and it's the idea of standing on a stage and saying we're the best makes people think that it almost makes people think we're gonna declare victory and stop. And the opposite is the case. And we took a minute so that we could make sure when we stood here and said we're the best, that not only could we convey to you all the reasons why and wait until that leadership is extremely well established, but also to talk about the future so that we know we're here to not only defend, but extend this leadership for years to come. Because claiming you're the best comes with a burden. People are gonna expect more from us. And we know that, and we are ready for it. But it took us a minute to sort of decide now's the moment to change everything. And you're gonna see everything we talk about from now on, you know, will be different because we've decided to embrace this network leadership that's been many, many years in the making and make it a centerpiece of our communication from today forward. Thank you. What else? One more in the room? All right.
Hi there. I have more of a question about the implementation of T-Satellite for existing and obviously customers that aren't with T-Mobile. Obviously, for our existing customers, it can be pretty easy, just be kind of an add-on, go on T-Life, get that activated. But how do AT&T and Verizon customers take advantage of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you kind of the simple explanation for how it works. It's very similar to the way that we've been doing it inside the beta. So an AT&T or Verizon customer, most of them are using phones that have multiple eSIM slots. And what we will do is activate one of the eSIM slots with a T-Satellite line. So when their primary mobile service is unavailable, that T-Satellite service on their second line will be available and they can connect to the satellite network.
For the consumer group itself, is this something that customers could come to, like retail locations, call care?
Absolutely, all of the above.
Okay, question in the room.
Congratulations on the best network win. I'm curious your thoughts as to how that's going to, the enhanced credibility it's going to give you in competing in the business space, both for core mobility as well as your 5G advanced network services.
Yeah, thanks for the question. You saw we were deliberate in including the voices of some of our business partners in today's announcement because it's such a huge part of our future. You know, one of the things that people love about T-Mobile and our kind of we won't stop ethos is that the strategy you know and love about this company has years of room to run. With business customers, there are categories of business where 90% plus of the customers are with the other guys. And, you know, today is about beginning to turn a consumer sentiment so that consumers will start to catch up to the reality of who's the network leader. But businesses, it works differently. Businesses, you got to get the meeting, so there's a sentiment piece, but then they're going to take 100 lines and go test it. And they're going to see who's the best. And that's why our win share is so much higher than our market share. In fact, in Q1, we beat everyone on net additions in the business sector. It was an all-time record. Q1 was an all-time record, not just in business, but for postpaid net additions generally at T-Mobile for a Q1. And that's saying something. This storied growth history of T-Mobile, the greatest periods of our growth ever are the ones we've most recently announced. And it's because it's not just consumers, but it's businesses that are waking up to the reality that they no longer have to make a trade-off. Another big underpenetrated segment for us is what we call smaller markets in rural areas. Now, this isn't just tiny towns. This is 40% of the country. It's essentially everything that's not the top 100 markets, where we are the share-taking leader now. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, we were nowhere. Our overall market share is only 20%, but we're gaining share at nearly double that rate because people don't have to choose anymore. And that's why we finished today with a big shout out to Verizon customers to let them know we're here for them. We're ready for them. We know why they chose Verizon. Over the last decade and a half, whether they're business customers, to the premise of your question, or consumers, or rural customers, or top 100, they have chosen the other guy because they thought they were the network leaders. And for a lot of that time, they were right. Starting today, all that has changed, and we're welcoming people with the best welcome ever in our industry's history. You guys, you've been great at your paying attention to us and listening to our story. I hope you see today as the beginning of something really special for our industry. What the Un-carrier does, we stand up and we make declarations about changing this industry for the better. And we take it in new places, and what we do is just watch while everybody else follows. We change the conversation in a sea of sameness. And I am so excited about this day. You're going to be seeing this campaign unfold as we trumpet what network leadership looks like with a new network leader in this country. You're going to see T-Satellite take hold and completely change people's expectations of what it's like to be connected. I hope on July 23rd, millions of people sign up and then go get lost in the woods and message their friends and family and loved one with that incredible chorus that I know will ring out from T-Mobile members. You won't believe where I am right now. And of course, starting on July 8th, the biggest on-us deal that we've ever offered, a new benefit of membership at T-Mobile from our good friends at DoorDash. Dash Pass is on us. You guys, thanks for joining our program. Woo, appreciate it. Thanks very much.